Hi, welcome back to Andrea Fontana Beauty. Today we're talking about emergency kits and why it's very important if you're getting married or you're the maid of honor in a wedding or, I don't know, a friend of yours or a sister is getting married. Here is my advice of what to put in an emergency kit for the day of your wedding. Now, if you're taking a honeymoon afterwards, a lot of these things can then transfer over to your honeymoon, which is really great, and then you're kind of like a little bit packed already, which is what I did. I took a lot of the things, but I wanted to share everything that I put in my emergency kit, which was a lot. It was large, but then I also had a mini one for Mikey. So I'm gonna show you the bags that I used. I got them at Target. Everything will be linked down below, unless if it's like something specific. But for the most part, I basically like walked into Target, bought the bags, bought the products, and then made my little bags for Mikey and I. And they were so useful. We used them so much. Even he used his on the wedding day. So yeah, I think this is really practical and very helpful. So if you are curious what it is I put in there, go ahead and keep watching and we're gonna go through it. Okay, so first let's start with the bags that I used. I got these from Target. They're by Sonia Kashuk and they have lots of different prints, but this is my big emergency bag. I wanted something that was patterned and easy to describe so that if I needed to say it's in, I don't know, if somebody didn't know what the emergency bag looked like, I could just be like, it's the white bag with black speckles. And it's very obvious which bag it is. So I got this one because yes, it's big, but it also is divided into 3 sections. So there's a center section that zips, pocket that zips, and then there's like a slot on each side. Right now it's filled with my cosmetics and stuff because I still haven't unpacked them from my honeymoon and I've just been living out of them. Like this video if you do something similar when you come back from vacation. But it worked so well because I was able to kind of divide up into 3 categories. I had a medication section, a beauty section, and then everything else, kind of my other. So I made a list here of everything. Mikey's bag was just like a smaller version of this. I got 2 prints that matched. His was probably like this big. It was just like a tube, but I got matching because I knew that like after the wedding I would want them to match, and I wanted to reuse them after the wedding. I didn't want to buy something just for the purpose of the wedding and never use it again. So that's why I went with makeup bags that I could then reuse. So Mikey had one that was same print. It was just smaller because he didn't have as many things in there. But let's go over the categories. We're gonna go over mine first. So I had the 3 categories. The first category was medications. Now, I shared this in my honeymoon video of my products that I was obsessed with that you need to travel, or just that I'm loving right now that I think you should buy. But in there, I showed this medication situation that I created that I'm very proud of because it was so practical, it was so useful, and I used it both for my wedding day and for my honeymoon. So in here, I wrote, so the cool thing about this, so it's Sunday through Saturday, right? It's like your typical 7 days of the week. There's an AM and a PM, but you can push out each day and have morning and night. And I just like relabeled them for what I wanted. So I have in here Advil, Benadryl. Wait, first I'm gonna tell you what I did for the wedding day because I did change it up a little bit for honeymoon. So for the wedding day, I wrote in Sharpie, I had Advil, Benadryl, Tums, Excedrin, Tylenol, Dramamine, and Gas X. Those were the main ones that I went with. I wanted something kind of for everybody. And I have to say, I'm pretty sure we used almost everything, especially the Tums. I had 3 pregnant bridesmaids and that came in very handy. But those were all the like things that I put in here. And then we also added in some Pepto pills and what else did I add in? I added, so not in here, but that I added Claritin, I added Liquid IV. Those were very much in handy. We drank so many Liquid IV. I just bought like a big pack and I'm pretty sure we went through all of them. All my bridesmaids, we all made sure to drink it before the wedding when we were like getting ready. One of my bridesman bought Lidocaine Spray, which was genius. I didn't end up using it because I didn't wear shoes that made my feet hurt, but if you are worried about shoes rubbing a certain way or you're wearing a pair that you know that's not comfortable, Lidocaine Spray is really great because it'll numb where it's rubbing and then you can't feel it. if it's bothering you. So that was something we just like kept on hand in the room. Eye drops were another thing that I keep those in my makeup kit. So like I knew that there was a possibility for a wedding day. So I added those in. We didn't end up using them, which is great. A lot of these things, like, don't expect to use everything, but like it's just nice knowing that if somebody needs it, you have it on hand. What else is on here? We ended up having an actual bottle of Pepto as well, not just like the tablets. And then we have a lot of Band-Aids. Again, shoe things, if something was rubbing weird, we just wanted to have options. So that was all the medication that I took on my wedding day. And then the nice thing is that I then like reconfigured this and brought this with me on my honeymoon. And it was great because if there was a day when like, I don't know, if I was having heartburn, I didn't end up having any heartburn, but like say I did, and I knew I wanted to have the Tums on me, I could just like pop out one of these and bring just that with me. I didn't have to bring this whole thing every time. So that was really great, and yeah, highly recommend. Now I just like keep this in our kitchen in case somebody needs medication, and we have like everything. I also added some melatonin, safety pins, some other things in there from the honeymoon, but that was great, very helpful. We ended up using a lot of those medications, especially on my honeymoon. I get car sick, so I liked having the Dramamine. The Benadryl was helpful for the night before the wedding to help me sleep, even though I still woke up at 3 a.m. wide awake, ready to go. Allergies, I had allergies because we had a spring wedding, so the week of my wedding I had allergies, took a lot of Claritin, so that was helpful. So yeah, that was in one of the sections. The second section was the beauty section, which I had more so for other people because, or just, they were things that I already knew. I either already had in my makeup kit, because in case you don't know, I'm a bridal makeup artist and I try to put things in my kit that somebody could potentially need on a wedding day because it's helpful. So some of these things I already had, but I wanted them purposely separate from my kit because obviously I wasn't doing everyone's makeup. I was just enjoying my wedding. So in there I had extra hair ties. None of them got used because everybody got their hair done, but like still just nice knowing that if somebody needed to like throw their hair up at the rehearsal, they could go back to the room and there was hair ties there. Oil blotting sheets, again, those came from my kit, but those are nice to have in case somebody gets oily. I had a couple little mini deodorants. Native Deodorants, that's the brand that I use, and I like their little mini ones. So I had a couple of those, which I did end up using. Hairspray, definitely went through the entire mini bottle of hairspray that I had because I forgot my own hairspray. And the night before party, I literally dove into this bag as soon as I got into my hotel room because I realized I had not brought a lot of stuff that I needed to get ready the night before. There was also cuticle oil in there, which I used on my honeymoon, didn't use the day of the wedding, but you know, if my nails had been looking gross or my hands were dry, I totally would have used that, and I'm really glad that it was in there. Nail glue, used that a lot. I had fake nails that I applied myself, and I lost a nail actually on the way to the rehearsal party, which was really funny because our best man ended up going up to our room, and it was, again, I was able to be like, look for the white bag with the black spots. And he found it, and he brought it to me, and we glued my nail back on, and it was all good. Shout out to Richard for saving the day. Bobby pins, clear hair ties, you know, just the typical beauty things that you might want to have on hand. Other things, I had a sewing kit in there. I had a pack of white chalk, which I know might seem weird. I didn't end up using it, but I'm really glad that I had it just in case. I had a friend reach out, and actually she told me that this trick that I had never heard of and none of my friends had ever heard of, but I thought it was genius, to have white chalk on hand just in case you get a little something on your dress somewhere, and it's, instead of trying to like worry about getting it out, you can color over it with a little bit of white chalk and it will hide it. So didn't actually get to test that, thankfully, although somebody did spill a whole glass of red wine down the front of my wedding dress, which is fine. Never wearing it again. It's okay. I still had the time of my life, but it's just funny because like I had chalk in case of a stain, and I got a stain that was way too big for chalk. I did once have a wedding where I used a white eyeliner to cover a stain on a bride's dress before she put it on, so that also could potentially work, but make sure that you do it with caution. Boob tape, or like fashion double-sided tape, needed that the night before, so that was very important to have, and that worked so well. I'll link the exact one that I got off of Amazon because I was really happy with it. It stuck really well even though I was like warm and sweaty and dancing, and it was great. It held everything in place right where I needed it to. I had a pair of small scissors, a crochet hook. My dress had buttons down the back, so crochet hooks, very important if you want to do that fast to button, so we definitely use that. I had multiple packs of tissues, like the little portable Kleenex tissue pouches, and used I think every single one. I cried so much. I had wipes in there. We didn't end up using them, but it was just nice to have some sort of like sanitizing wipe just in case. I don't know, we needed it. Safety pins I kind of mentioned, but we popped those in here. And then earring backs is one that you might not think of, but to have earring backs in case you know, you're going to put your jewelry on and you've lost an earring back or whatever the case may be. I had tons in case anybody lost an earring back. So that's all the stuff that I put in there, and I ended up using, I would say, at least 65 to 70% of it. I think it's all great stuff that I would recommend if I was getting married tomorrow or somebody asked me. I would put all of it back in there again. I think it was great, and I liked that it all fit into this big bag. I had a purple Rubbermaid container that was clear that I put all of my like day of getting ready important things. So like my details box for my photographer, my shoes, this, like all the things were in that purple box. Again, I did a color so that I could just tell people it's in the purple box, not the white box or the brown box or the black box, which could be very vague. So yeah, I purposely chose things that were colored or patterned so that I could delegate, which is the #1 bridal tip: delegate when you can. So yeah, that's that. Now I wanted to tell you about Mikey's, because you might, you know, making an emergency kit for yourself may seem obvious, but making one for your groom is very important. And there was a part of it that was very important that Mikey used. So again, his was just like a small little makeup bag. It was tiny. I didn't put a bunch of stuff in there, but I do for a fact know, I have a little list again. I added Advil and Tylenol in there because I want him to have both ibuprofen and acetaminophen, just in case somebody needed it. I don't know if somebody used it. I also put mouthwash in there, an extra toothbrush and toothpaste. Again, liquid IVs. We're all in our 30s, so I wanted to make sure that we were all hydrated and feeling great. And those really do help when you are gonna be drinking more than normal. So those are very important. So that was all in there. And then I also had another mini sewing kit, which was huge because I'm pretty sure it was Mikey. A button on Mikey's something popped off right as they were getting ready. And thankfully one of his groomsmen knew how to sew, and I had put a sewing kit in there, and so he had used the sewing kit to sew it back on. I don't know if it was like his pants or his jacket. I don't remember what it was, but a button popped off and they sewed it back on thanks to that sewing kit. So I can't recommend enough. Also, tell your best man. Like, I made sure to tell Mikey's best man, hey, there is an emergency kit in Mikey's stuff, because, you know, Mikey's doing things, right? And in case somebody needs something, I wasn't sure Mikey was gonna think of it or remember it. I don't know. Your brain goes in a million different directions on your wedding day, and I wanted people to know that he had it. So Richard knew, and he made sure that it was there in case somebody needed it, which they ended up needing. So that is what I put in my wedding day emergency kit. If there's something that you had in yours that I didn't have in mine that you were really glad that you had, make sure to comment it below so that other people can check it out and see. If you're preparing for your own wedding, congratulations. I hope you have the time of your life. It was the best day, and while I'm very glad that I had these little things for little emergencies, nothing can dampen how magical of a day it is. It's truly one of a kind. And I hope you have a wonderful day. If you know somebody getting married, be sure to forward this along to them, or somebody helping with a wedding. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all the places, Andrea Fontana Beauty. And I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.